Train Your Dragon is getting the live-action treatment from the same filmmaker behind the animated movies. So in the next 53 seconds, let's fly off to see how they brought this world of Berk to life.
I didn't want it to become another live-action remake where it loses its soul.
That was the biggest challenge for Dean DuBois, who returned to retell this story because he felt protective of it while wanting to prove this version can be just as powerful.
Our dragons will feel as credible as any dinosaur in Jurassic Park.
And that meant building a giant animatronic version of Toothless.
Dragons were made and controlled practically to get genuine reactions from actors, blending their work with puppeteers and CGI to enrich the world. Speaking of,
we built so much of Berk in Belfast.
The rugged terrain of Northern Ireland served as a backdrop, which got pretty cold shooting on location, except for Stoic the Vast.
And I was choking every day, so I ended up with this huge metal straw so that I could breathe.
Jar Butler's back, this time beard glue, and this 92-pound costume caused some problems. So it's your favorite film adapted from an animated movie. Let your thoughts soar into the comments below. But for now, that is a minute. Whoa, 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 whoa. Don't you fly away just yet, because it's time for a bonus. Gerard is the only voice actor to reprise his big role, something that he's grateful to do, but what was the work like leading up to stepping out on a set?
It took hours to get on, and it was in 5 pieces, plus I had the whole costume. In my first scene, I'm like, what is going on here?
Even though the Scottish actor was able to slip back into the voice, that's not the case for Mason Thames and Nico Parker, who wanted to make sure their takes on Hiccup and Astrid were their own, while paying homage to Jay Baruchel and America Ferrera's animated versions.
They are the OG, and so I think there is something about it where you don't want to get too deep into it, because otherwise you start just doing an impersonation.
Another and the biggest tied to the OG trilogy is Dean, who stepped into the shoes of directing this story again. It's his first time taking on the role outside of animation, but he felt like watching lots of behind the scenes of other directors helped him prepare, even though he faced many variables like the weather changing that he didn't have to go through the first time.
We really had to kind of accommodate for all these changes, but the wonderful thing is then you get surprises that make the scenes better.
Speaking of making things better, did you know How to Train Your Dragon originated as a book and was initially being developed as a live-action movie before the animated concept? But that never happened, obviously, because
The CEO of DreamWorks said, stop. The story's too young and it's too small. For the budget, we need a broader audience.
Dean and Chris Sanders, the Lilo and Stitch creator, then took over the first-time project with 3 stipulations from the studio exec.
He said, I want a father and a son story, I want a big David and Goliath ending, and I want a Harry Potter tone. And he said, aside from that, you're free to invent.
So what do you think about us finally getting the How to Train Your Dragon live-action movie, and how do you think it compares to the animated flick?
You ready?